All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, continuing our retro pay-per-view review series. It's going to be In Your House, number 3. Your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this one. This was not a very successful one. This was In Your House 3 was the also now the first in the pay-per-view of the Monday Night Wars saga that would go on. This was September 24th, 1995. Nitro had just started a few weeks prior to this. So here we go for the next few years. This was in Saginaw, Michigan. Roughly 5,146 people on hand for this one. The quotes for this one was triple header. Even the buy rates was down on this one was 160,000 on this one. So this wasn't exactly a grand old pay-per-view. And it also, on top of the 6 matches that they had booked, they had 4 dark matches, one prior to the event and then 3 to follow the main event. I'll go through them real quick. It was Fatu defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley to start off the night.
Triple H versus Rikishi.
Yep.
Years before he did it for The Rock.
They did for The Rock. And then to follow the night, it was Goldust defeating Bob Holly. When he hadn't even made his debut.
He hadn't even made it, because he makes his debut on the next In Your House, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ahmed Johnson defeats Skip. And The Undertaker defeats King Mabel. So only one of those matches was probably worth watching.
Yeah.
And that was the Undertaker match. In any event, Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, all doing the commentary on this one. So here we go. Opening matchup of the night. Savio Vega versus Waylon Mercy. Oh, my God. Dan Spivey.
It's a shame. You know, at this point, Dan Spivey's older. He's beat up.
His knees. Did you notice during the match that he was missing?
Move.
He was missing quite a few. He
can't move.
His punches, his wrestling maneuvers.
He couldn't really. He lost his athleticism at this point, which is a shame because, you know, Spivey could have been a great heel even at, at this point. You know, a new gimmick if he had been physically healthy. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. But the gimmick might have worked.
I think it would have. It's just
reminded me. This was like a Cape Fear gimmick.
That's what it was based off. Yeah. Cape Fear.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro in Cape Fear.
I liked it. You know, he had the dagger and his thing. He's shaking hands of the fans.
Yeah.
But he has that crazy look in his eyes when he gets you in that move. And then in the beginning, he's dancing with Savio. And Savio's like, okay, yeah, let's do. You want to do a little salsa dance? Yeah, no problem. The match wasn't bad because Waylon Mercy was undefeated going into this, so obviously Vince didn't have any faith in him into this match. And a spinning heel kick and Savio wins the match, but Waylon Mercy or Dan Spivey was way off, a second or two slower on his moves than we would normally see him.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, unfortunately, this is him winding down, and I think just about after this, he's gone because I mean he did have a win against Diesel after this on I don't know, I forget if it was a Monday Night Raw or Superstars. It was it might have count out or disqualification.
Might have been Superstars. I think it was.
Yeah, because that was one of the 2 matches that Diesel had a losing streak going in with Bret Hart, which was pissing him off. So, and I couldn't believe they gave Waylon the win like that. I'm like, okay, are they going to do something with him, and then you never see him again? So now, during the whole night now, even I think was starting after this match, Jim Cornette's having a difficult time. Owen Hart is not in the building. Gorilla Monsoon is saying how the match is going to go on, regardless if he shows up or not. He does offer him 2 scenarios that he can go with. Yokozuna can go in it on his own, or he can pick somebody that he would sanction one night only as being co-holder of the tag team titles, and if they pin Shawn Michaels or Diesel, they would get either title. And I love the list. I'll go through it after each match, the ones that he was trying to pick. Oh my God!
You know, it's of note that I understand a lot of this is hyperbole. They're just promoting, the pay-per-view. But in the beginning, did you catch when Todd Pettingill is doing the voiceover and he says that Yokozuna and Owen Hart could be the greatest tag team of all time?
Yeah, I caught that, and I was laughing.
I'm like, not even close.
Not even in the top 10, dude.
Not even close. So,
no, not this. This was you're talking about a tag team that just was thrown together at WrestleMania,
and Yokozuna couldn't really move at that point. He was starting to gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, this is why they had to put him in the tag team, and this is you wouldn't see him a few more times in 1996, and that's it.
Yeah.
How many appearances they had between 96 and 98 that they had to put somebody else in his place because he couldn't go.
Right.
So our next match was Henry Godwinn, fresh babyface,
Yep.
against Psycho Sid. And this all stems from the weekend prior to this, Psycho Sid getting slopped on with the bucket. Not only him, but Ted DiBiase as well.
So
and this is go ahead
Sid goes from the main event, the last in your house,
to this,
and
this is where the $1 Million Corporation is gone now.
Yeah.
Because now half the corporation is not even there anymore.
Yeah, Tatanka's suspended at this time.
Yeah, and Bundy's gone.
Yeah.
And you got Kama and you got Sid. That's it. The IRS is bye-bye. You know, I don't know where he is at this point. I don't even know if they got rid of him at this point.
I don't remember, but maybe he's on his way to become VK Wall Street.
Yeah. So this is kind of the beginning of the end. They're trying to build up the corporation, but it's sinking at this point. And I mean, this match was You know, Sid
was over victory. Though, man. He's a heel, but they're still cheering for him.
Oh yeah. Well, because at first they weren't cheering. They never really cheered for Henry Godwinn until they brought in Hillbilly Jim as the manager.
Yeah.
And then Godwinn was always a heel to me. He was better as that.
I thought he was okay as a babyface.
He's want to take his boys, so he's got to get what he's got to get. But you know, Sid gets the victory. Here comes Henry Godwinn with the bucket again. He wants to slap somebody. So Sid is beating him down again. Here comes Bam Bam Bigelow out to help him, and then Kama Mustafa shows up, and lo and behold, DiBiase still gets slopped on. It's sad where they got DiBiase at this point. It's just sad. In any event, we'll move on to the next match. The next match was Bam Bam Bigelow versus the new heel of the WWE, the British Bulldog. And Bulldog's on one hell of a run here. Now, during this match, they show Cornette trying to get Psycho Sid to be Yoko's tag team partner. And he's telling him, you could be the champion. He goes, all right, okay, that's great. What about the money? And Cornette's acting like he didn't hear him. Because Cornette's a cheap bastard. And then they also show the Cornette talking to Mabel. And Mabel and Yoko are just staring each other down, ready for a fight. And what's funny is on the next In Your House, they'll actually go at it, these two. So Bulldog and Bam Bam was an okay match. To me, it was nothing special. I spent more time, I don't know about you, but I spent more time watching the kids or the guys in the whole first row. It was like this whole group had this entire maybe about 15 seasons. I spent more time watching what they were doing. They were actually making signs on the run there and putting them up. I was paying attention to them more than this match.
Yeah, Bulldog. They had just turned Bulldog babyface. I mean, I'm sorry, they had turned Bulldog heel. He had turned on Lex Luger because him and Luger were supposed to have a feud, but then Luger quit and went back to WCW.
Then he turned on Diesel.
So they didn't really know what to do with him.
Well, they put him in that tag team match against Men on a Mission, and Bulldog turns on Diesel, around SummerSlam. So that's, since Luger was leaving, they put their attention towards this, which I didn't understand why.
I know. It was kind of a shame, like, because they turned them so that they would feud. Yeah. So that Bulldog and Luger would have a feud, which I guess could have been all right. But
it would have been a good match, I think. But why they didn't have Bulldog and Diesel at this one, but they had it at the next one, I don't know. But British Bulldog gets the victory in this one with the power slam, and he's not. I should say he's not done for the night. Our next match, right before he had Bob Backlund come out, God help us, with his idiotic wording. Sometimes I don't even think he realizes what he's saying. But he's introducing Dean Douglas.
Yeah.
Why, and I've said this before, why Vince had to change Shane Douglas, I have no idea.
He ruined him from day one. He ruined him, and then
exactly. And then he was gone. He was there for a few months, and then bye.
He was just, he came off his best work as the franchise. He was red hot, comes in, and then Vince's like, no, I'll make him a school teacher. I guess Shane Douglas must have messed up and told Vince that he had a teaching degree. And
oh boy,
he's like, wait a minute, I have an idea. Because that's what Vince does. He asks, what are you good at? and then you might be branded as that. So I
How
don't know.
many
I don't
times
know the whole
Taker said he
story.
loved to dance, and then he thought he was going to be Eggman in
Dancing,
Survivor Series?
dancing, yeah, but
Eh,
yeah,
I would have
maybe.
liked him just better as Shane Douglas coming in as a heel would have been more. It would have been
Well,
better. You probably could have
yeah.
even had him in the main event picture.
He said something about how he had cut a promo. He had done a different type of Dean Douglas, more like the franchise, and he cut a promo and like it was in a in front of a bunch of people. Michael Hayes was one of the people, but then Vince had to step out to take a meeting, and that everybody told him, "Oh, he did a great job. You did a great job," because he had done it his way. He had tried Vince's way, and then he did it his way. And then Vince comes back in the room, and then Vince says, "Well, I think I like it better my way. What do you guys think?" And everybody in the room that told Shane that he did it better the other way, the way he wanted to do it, they just agree with Vince. Oh yeah, your way is better. And that,
Ask
right,
kissing
right, right.
puppets.
So
That's
I
all they
mean,
were.
I
They
have
were
no reason
bobbleheads.
to.
Yes,
Yeah,
Vince. Yes, Vince. Yes, Vince.
and then the Click hated him. So he was done. He was done. He had no chance. That bad gimmick, the Click hated him. He had no chance.
So that's two that the Click responsible for leaving. Because obviously
Yeah,
we've documented that Bam Bam Bigelow couldn't take it anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why that he introduces Razor Ramon. Dean
I,
Douglas introduces
I
him.
I don't know either. I'm like I thought that we just give it back to the ring announcer, and he's announcing them, and they show Razor, and even before this, they were showing how this built up from
Right,
SummerSlam,
right, right.
how he critiqued Razor's match and he didn't like it, and one of the best slaps he ever gave him, and then the storyline with the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon on the outs, and then they had their match on the previous Monday Night Raw, and D. Douglas got involved in that. So this was a knockdown drag out. Razor and Dean. This was a good
It was actually a
match.
decent match. It wasn't bad.
It was,
Didn't like the
and
ending though.
no, with the 1-2-3 Kid coming in, pretending to get but he counts to
Yeah,
three.
because the referee gets hurt.
Razor thinks that he's won. He sees the kid and he
Just shoves him.
beats the crap out of him. He
Just
shoves
shoves
him,
him right out of the ring.
and Dean Douglas winds up getting the victory in this when he rolled him up, hooked the tights, and Dean Douglas is the winner. Naturally, this automatically moved him to the number one contender spot of the Intercontinental title somehow. I don't see how that's possible, but okay. Because at the next pay per view, he's supposed to face Shawn Michaels. So Razor and the 1-2-3 Kid have to be broken up, and I'm surprised they decided to do this. I mean, obviously, it's the Click working together within themselves, but why, after a couple of years of these two guys being together, why all of a sudden would they want to break it up?
I don't know. The 1-2-3 Kid as a heel never worked. I think it never
No,
worked. Not the
it
1-2-3
did.
Kid.
No, as X Pac it did,
Yeah, yeah,
or Six it worked,
yeah.
but not 1-2-3 Kid for some
No,
reason.
no.
No. So our next match, you may disagree with me with this, but I think this was a good match itself. It was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Jean Pierre Lafitte. I think that these two guys did a great job. I think Lafitte did a good job in this match. Both of them, this match could have gone either way. I know, you're a big Bret guy, and this was a waste of his time. I
Yeah.
agree,
The whole night,
but the whole year was a waste of his
almost
time.
all of 1995. Almost all of it. Obviously, not the Diesel matches, but
from
almost all of it.
WrestleMania up until Survivor Series, yes, was a waste. But this match was
No, the match was good. It's not
watching.
I mean, Bret Hart's never gonna have a bad match though, so that's not.
Against Bob Backlund in WrestleMania, kind of, but it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
It was Backlund, and and Bret said I hated that match.
Oh, the match should have never happened. That's another story.
Exactly. But I mean, this was,
He stole his jacket. This is the only problem I have with this. Is that the feud was so stupid. He stole his jacket.
Over a jacket and the glasses that he was taking off.
Right, and then Bruce Pritchard said, "Well, he's a pirate. That's what pirates do. They steal."
I don't see how he could wrestle with one. I don't know. It was like hard. Like, how do you maneuvering around there unless he actually could see through
I think
it.
he legitimately had something wrong with one of his eyes, I think too. I could be wrong, but I kind of remember that he actually had they just kind of incorporated that with the eye patch, but that he did have like a messed up eye, I think. I don't know.
Well, he was previously, Quebecers.
Yeah, that's forgotten. He's a pirate now.
Exactly. This is it. And then pretty much soon after this, he was gone.
And then Bret Hart doesn't even come out with another jacket. Bret Hart used to change his jackets. It's not like Bret Hart came out with the same jacket every night.
Well, supposedly this was the one that his mother made for him.
Oh, Jesus.
So that had sentimental value, and because Lawler's going on about it.
Yeah, it was so bad for Bret. with Lawler and Isaac Yankem and
Hakushi
and Jean-Pierre Lafitte. And
even though the match was good,
like,
but I told you, him and Taker were wasted big time. Brett more than Taker. At least Taker had a feud with Mabel, so it wasn't a total loss for him. But for Brett, it was a complete waste of a year.
But at least the match was good.
The match was good. And it was actually like the longest match on the card, almost 17 minutes. And Bret Hart gets the victory, gets his jacket back. Okay, now let's move on to the WWE title in a couple of months because he's not on the next card. So now we go to our main event.
All right.
This is the triple header.
All right, I want to get into something that bothers me about this.
Okay.
Besides the match, this is my thing. Like, all the titles should have been on the line, and what I mean by that is what you could have done was if Diesel gets pinned, Shawn loses his IC belt to the other guy, whoever.
So it's all or nothing.
All or nothing, and you up the stakes, and then you have a back and forth with Shawn and Diesel. Like, listen, man, I'm trusting you, man. Like, because if you lose, I lose, and so everybody's got everything to lose. I didn't like the fact that you could only win either the WWF title or the IC title, depending on who you won, and then the other guy is safe. So he's like, well, no skin off my back.
And that's why they said during the match, why would Shawn, if Diesel's getting pinned, why would Shawn go in there and break it up? It's not his title; he's losing. They had mentioned that several times. Like, why would they do? And then they said, why wouldn't if Yoko is pinning Diesel? He wouldn't. Lawler had said this. He wouldn't blame Bulldog for coming in to break that up because maybe he wants the title, right. But they didn't do that. That's another thing that was lacking from the match.
Right. That's what they should. Right. Yeah. They should have. That should have been an important part of the match. Was that these are high stakes. All the titles are up for grabs. I don't understand. It's a blown opportunity. Besides the fact they didn't give us the match that they advertised.
No, it was supposed to be Yoko and Owen Hart defending the tag titles against Shawn and Diesel, and it was British Bulldog that was moved into the match. And what makes this and the loophole to get him out of the Shawn and Diesel holding all the belts is they had Owen come out late at the end of the match, and Owen gets jackknife powerbomb and gets pinned by Diesel. Well, so that the next night on Raw,
we just kind of jumped out, but yeah, exactly. Like.
Well, yeah, to make it null and void, they said, well, you pinned the wrong guy.
This just goes to show you it's just bad booking. Bad booking. You had a great idea on paper, right? And you ruined it. And from what I understand, Vince is the one who changed it. Shawn and Diesel were supposed to win the titles. And eventually that would set up, it would set up their breakup and everything. That down the line, that leads into good friends, better enemies.
Yeah.
Down the line. And that would have been great had they actually won the titles, defended them. They had all the belts. You're setting something up. And Vince says, it doesn't make any sense. I don't want to break them up right now. And why would they want the tag titles? Vince screwed this whole thing up.
He didn't break them up until, February?
Yeah, he screwed the whole...
Because as Diesel's turning heel, he's still with Shawn.
Excuse me. You screwed up the whole thing on paper. I'm going to say, I don't know how you felt. When I saw this, like, before it happened, I was excited. Because at first I thought all the belts were on the line too. I didn't think that it was for whatever reason. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Initially, I remember when it was announced, I thought that it was the scenario that I just gave you.
Yeah,
that's what it was, and I was like, oh man! And you knew Shawn and Diesel were going to win the titles. Like there was no question that we're. You knew they were going over. You knew they were going over, and I like them, two dudes with attitudes. I was excited seeing. We never saw this before.
Exactly.
All the belts on the line. We never saw it before.
And the only time we ever seen it was just title for title. But never like this.
No, it was great, and the idea of it was great, and they botched it. I mean, the match itself wasn't bad. I did enjoy the match. They had good chemistry. I like when Shawn was making fun of Yokozuna. Like he told Nash to stand down. Like, no, I got him. I got Yokozuna.
And of course, Yoko,
now
speaking English, he's telling him, I got this.
Yeah, he does the sumo stands and everything. There was some good spots. These guys can wrestle. Obviously, Bulldog's a great wrestler. HBK, no question. Yoko could. It's just that he was out of shape and he would get winded. Diesel was a good wrestler in his own right for a big man.
For some reason, I always like seeing Shawn in the ring with Yoko. I don't know why.
Because Shawn does all those crazy bumps for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the super kick that he sent them out of the ring was kind of cool.
It was kind of a half-ass super kick, but it was cool though.
Yeah, it was.
He saved the Diesel's title. Remember he jumps with the elbow,
and that's why they were asking, why is he doing that? His title's not up. He doesn't lose his title, and that's when I'm thinking
that's what it should have been, man.
When I'm watching it live, that's when it first hit me. Like you're saying, I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean he doesn't lose his title? His title's up for grabs, and I was thinking just the same as you watching this live. I'm like, wait a minute, he loses that if he. What do you mean he doesn't lose it? That's
what it should have been. But imagine if they would have actually had the stipulation that I said, and also if they would have actually given us the real match, which was Owen and Yoko. This would have been great, tremendous.
Instead, they put Owen in at the last minute, so where they say that you pinned the wrong guy, therefore you're not the tag.
Because what happened? Bulldog gets jackknifed, right? I think Bulldog gets jackknifed, and then Owen comes out, and then
he comes off the top rope. Diesel nails him, and then jackknife powerbombs him.
But why? But it doesn't from okay.
Then why did the referee count that 3 too?
Not only that, why did Diesel pin him?
Exactly. He knows not the right guy in the match.
Right, and I know it's wrestling. I get it, but I'm just saying,
it's scripted, but still
make it make sense.
Exactly.
It was just a bad well, we have to have a loophole to get. We want to put it was like a compromise. Like, well, we want to put the belts on them, and it's like, no, well, okay, you know what? I'll let you put the belts on them, but we have to have the stipulation so we can get rid of the belts, and we'll do it that way. We'll strip them the next night. This whole thing just seems pointless to me. On paper, I love this, and I don't think we see a match similar to this till the 2-man power trip, right? When Austin had the world, Triple H had the IC,
and Taker and Kane had the tag belts.
Yes, right.
2001, yeah.
And I remember seeing that and thinking of this and how cool it was, right? Such a great idea.
It is,
and they shat the bed.
Yeah. And then the only ones that benefited out of all this was the Smoking Guns because they became the tag team champions the next night by beating Owen and Yoko. And so now Shawn is still the IC champion and Diesel's still the WWE champion. And, because their first tag team title reign, we didn't get to enjoy because they broke it up. And
they quit. They never lost the titles.
Exactly. They mentioned that on the pay-per-view that they never did lose the tag titles. So now there's guys, this is like D-Generation X. D-Generation X, Shawn and Triple H together never won the tag titles until they reunited later on. Then when they finally got the tag titles, Triple H was hurt. So they never could actually defend the titles themselves. So something like this. Now, with the second time around, we get these two guys that have the tag titles. This is unbelievable. You guys have all the belts. Go out there on the next pay-per-view and all you guys are just wrestling nonstop.
No. How cool would it have been if HBK would have defended his IC title, right? And then Diesel defended his title, and then they come back for the tag title match.
No.
That would have been like unprecedented. Like that would have been
that in your house would have definitely the buy rate on that would have definitely shot up. If you had these guys wrestling multiple times, defending all these belts that they have,
right? And you don't have to do it for long. You can do it for 1 or 2 pay-per-views.
They could have dropped the belt. For argument's sake, they could have dropped the belt the following month.
Yeah.
But then, it's a good thing they didn't because who would have known, what Shawn Michaels is going to succumb to and what happens to him.
Well, maybe he's not up there. Maybe that doesn't even happen because they have to be together because they're the tag team champions.
This is true,
right?
It could have changed, because they were all in different. Cities at this point. At that point,
so I gotta say, this in your house, man.
The idea, like WCW coming up with different concepts, the idea on paper was great. The execution wasn't there so much.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But I like the fact that these 4 guys got into the main event, and this was Yoko's last hurrah in the main event, and even going for the WWE title.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but his doing.
Yeah. All right. So you guys let us know what you think. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.